Hey,
Huss.
no.
Unique fashion. Huss. Elam Road. Huss. Shout out to my boy E. Keep it going. Huss. This for you, boy. Huss. Boy, I got a unique huss. I had to get it out the mud. I huss. I ain't waiting on shit. I huss.
Check it, man. It's a unique hustle. It's your boy ECO.
And I'm Money Moses, by the way, and we creating content every damn day.
Check it, man. Hey, man. We got a guest today, man. Y'all need to get ready, man. I've been waiting on this minute to talk to this brother, man. It's a long history of things that I want to ask him, man. Hey, man, this guy's a legend, man. In the rap game. Come on, man. Hey, when I first heard him, it was the early 90s, man. And to be honest with you, the brother was bringing the pain then. And the latest stuff I heard, he was still bringing it, man. It's your boy Young Bleed, man, in the building, man. What's going on, brother?
Who that? What's good with your family? What's good with you? How y'all make?
Man, every time, hey, listen, man, every time I can, I be trying to get a hold of you, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. Ever since we talked the first time, it was like, wow, man. Everything you tell me, man, been enlightening, man. It's just a blessing to be able to talk with you, man. So we got Money Moses in the building.
Yes,
we
sir.
also have the official Miss Jamaica in the building as well, man. And she always got a lot of questions, man. She keep me in line because I be shooting from the hip, man. Because I get excited about the rap. You know, we did mental health yesterday, but today we in my lane today. Yesterday it was mental health. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But hey, man, I just appreciate you, man, for taking this, man. Taking this interview. What's up?
Man, well, you know, like it go with us, man. E. You know, you big bro to me, man. You know, it's a family affair. Shouts out to Z. You know what I mean? And your brother Steve, man. You know, getting us all connected to be able to do this. And shouts out to Boss Talk 101.
Man.
You know what I mean? My man Money.
Money Moses.
You know what I mean? Money and Mr. Jamaica, man. Yeah, Money Moses and Mr. Jamaica, man. So I appreciate y'all having me.
Man, thanks you for
being here.
There you go. So I always say ladies first, man. I'm gonna hand it off to Miss Jamaica, man. She got some questions and I know she gonna home in on you. I mean, she got a book over there.
Say that then. All right.
Okay, my first question for you would be, how long have you been in this business and what inspired you to go down this path?
The industry, overall industry, 23, 24 years this year, celebrating the 23rd anniversary of my solo debut to the world. All I have in this world is my balls and my word. Word debuted in 1998, but underground ultimately about 37 years.
Wow,
yeah.
That's extraordinary.
School, man.
You started at a young age.
Yeah, about 9 years old in the fourth grade. For me putting my pen to my pad, I probably was freestyling a year prior to that, but I started to learn to formulate my words somewhere around 1983. Yeah, 9 years old, fourth grade.
I wasn't even born then.
Yeah. We got a youngster in the building. He wasn't around, but and guess what? Both of y'all from Louisiana.
What part you from?
That's what's up.
I'm from Monroe.
Okay, look, I got some homies and family in Monroe, man. Shouts out to my man, Big D from Big Weight Entertainment, man. You know, he's doing the bid, working on his case. But his artist, Freeze from K Street. If you know anything about Freeze and K Street, I did Freeze debut record when he was releasing him as a solo artist, living in Dallas at the time. So it's a record that's available now on all the social media websites, but it's called Young Bleed and Freeze Off the Curve. But here again, shouts out to Monroe, Louisiana. A lot of people don't know that's the birthplace of Huey P. Newton. Being today is February 1st, Black History Month for the Black Panthers. But
that's what's up, man.
Something special coming on for this month.
Yeah. This month right here, man. We supposed to be setting an example this month when I think about it, man. Man. Yeah. We didn't have much to start with, man, but we making waves. Everybody don't like to be positive about our people, but I see a lot of unity, man. It's some things that's united about us, and we need to acknowledge that, I believe. Man, So let me ask you a question, man, because we gonna get.
But
into,
he didn't answer the second part.
What was the second? I'm
second
sorry.
Part
let
of
me
the
step
question
back.
Was so who inspired you to go down that path?
I'm sorry I missed it. I tell everybody this, man. I'm born this way. I come from, in one sense, an underground musical family. My mother read me Dr. Seuss in the embryo. My uncle played drums. They say rap is rhythm and poetry, R.A.P. So
wow.
By the time I was probably about 8 months and born into the world, 8 months to a year, I was reading the same Dr. Seuss. My mama was reading me while I was still in the inside. My mother damn near, died the day I was born, and she sacrificed her life in that sense. And told that to the doctors that, she had a complicated pregnancy. But long story short, she said, let me live. And she accepted her demise at 17 years old.
Wow.
But she read me that form of poetry when I was still inside of her. And I had an uncle that played congas, bongas, all kind of African eccentric instruments, but definitely the congas, bongas, and a real stick. So she said, during the time of her pregnancy, he'll play the drums all the time and run her crazy because I kind of move around a lot on the inside.
Hey.
Like I say, I'm born this way. I'm a 70s baby, man. So, rap became my way of life. So it go way back to that for me before I got into the world. So I personally feel like this is my mission. I can tell you about my granddaddy that was a blues man, played piano, so on and so forth. My other uncle and my grandmother was president of the choir, Sweet Home Baptist Church, shout out South Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But I'm raised that way. Before I was 10 years old, I was in an opera, so everything of music genre was around me. If it wasn't for my uncles and, other aunties that was playing records and different things that was in the house, and my granddad, I always am a blues baby. So I kind of took all that by the time I evolved into the early 80s and made that my own personal gumbo pot. So like
That's what I'm
talking
about.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful, man. So you got another one you want to shoot
go
at?
ahead. You had.
Well, I was just I really me. I'm more into, I'm on this music thing, man. I be because I'm hip hop, So
Yeah,
when you look at me, I'm hip hop. I was born into it. I remember when it wasn't no hip hop. That telling my age a little bit. I remember when hip hop came on the scene. So when you've been dealing with it like that, it's sentimental to you. And I remember when you hit the scene, and one of the things I always often wonder about guys like you that been in the game so long, I guess I'll throw this at you. How many record labels would you say that you've had to deal with over the years?
Oh, man. Deal with maybe a good 10 minimum, 20 max.
You remember your first one?
Yeah, absolutely. Record overall label. When I put my first, I used to sell tapes on the corner. So I started off with a production company first. Looking at my first printed record and a tape that we used to sell, on the corner stores. And
yeah.
Moms and pop stores, like early 90s, 90, 91, somewhere like that. Then, of course, I went on to C-Loc Records and we started doing independent records, moms and pop stores. So starting from a real small scale, 15 to 16 years old, anywhere between a 10, 20 in the middle, if 30 companies just going in and out, just, different transitions and situations, man. So, yeah, I never really personally counted it out, but anywhere between that 10 and 30 frame, man.
Yeah, I just always know that you guys, because most of the time when you look at the hip hop industry, most of the time you guys be knowing each other. It's crazy to me how organic it is because all of y'all have this chemistry with the music, and the people who are trying to get everybody signed or trying to get people to promote, what they're doing, it kind of locks y'all all into each other. So every time I would meet certain ones, it'd be like, oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I know him, or I know him, because I've met a lot of people and they always somehow know each other some kind of way or know about each other through somebody they work with.
Right. When you say that, E, it really make me recap my statement. Because when you say that independently and raw, independently, everybody you meet that's a rapper, that's a CEO, from the underground up, maybe anywhere from 100 to 1,000.
Now you see where I'm coming from, because it really throws you off when you think about it.
I Bleed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, what did you learn from these record companies?
How to set up my own, just like working in the job, what the do's and the do not, what's successful and what just didn't work for the next guy. And it's on, us to each one teach one. You know what I mean? And it's just like Einstein to Nikola Tesla, or whoever you want to name from a scientific standpoint, it's trial and error. So, not saying that to downplay nobody at the end of the day, but you learn, you know what I mean? The ins and outs, the he against, the do's and the do not. So, I run a label nowadays, but, I foresaw running a label since I was about 9 years old. But like they told me when I come in the game is 90% business, 10% talent. And I had to grow into that.
Yeah.
And so would you, if a young artist coming to you right now, would you help him and show him the game and how to get in it by the business way?
Like I say, I've been running a label and labels for years. This is like my third label. The first one never went to print, Criminal Records. The second label was Detention Home. But this third label, Trapdoor Entertainment, I incorporated myself somewhere like 2009, 2010. So right now I have about 25 artists. So that's just what I do.
Man, so you doing it. You doing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
Good.
We've been dropping records since November 6th. And my plethora of new artists and blessed to have we're waiting for a re-release date of artists that just put out by the name of Zam Two-Turn, man, out of the East St. Louis area. So I go around ghetto to ghetto, suburb to suburb. If I see something here, something I like, and we can do some business, I don't have to pick and choose it. So, and a lot of people grasp to me for the legendary status and just being situated with a plateau to get your voice out. So I'm a born artist person, so I fight for the artist into the corporation, man. So yeah, that's the story of my life. Yeah,
let me ask you this: which OG? Because we call them OGs. Who inspired you the most, far as in the rap game, industry?
I always say this: Rakim always been my favorite rapper of all time, but it's the era before Rakim. So my list, when people ask me to narrow it down to a top 3, top 5.
Hold on. We go. Whoa. You can't do that yet. You can't do that.
No. Listen.
Don't tell me the top 3 yet, because I got a whole segment I got to do with you on top 3. I gotta ask that question. So if we want to do it now, we can. So give me the top.
No.
Okay.
Here where I'm going.
Okay.
I can never do that because I got more than a favorite 3 rappers.
Okay.
10 rappers. Then if we separate them in eras from the 70s. Into the 80s, into the 90s, to the early 2000s, what's popping now, it's, music is the universal language. You know what I mean? We always speak it in different terms and terminology. So it's always innovating. It's always something new. So I can go back to the 70s and talk about Busy B, the Curtis Blow, Kool Moe D, and them guys. Then I can get into LL, Rakim, Daddy Kane.
But it might be. Is it just rap though? Because you could have a thing for like soul, or because where we come from, we came from a different era to where we can reach back and say, you know what, it might be Marvin Gaye. We don't know.
Oh, look, you say that. Don't get me started. I go back for it like, and believe it or not, I listen to Beethoven, Bach, and
that's
just
what's up,
music connoisseur. But I love the blues and Robert Johnson, 30s music, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd. So with me, it's an infinite tree to pick from. So I could never put
So you could never give me 3 artists. Are you serious? Not Young Bleed, not 3. Give me top 3 artists of all time.
I'm struggling with that, E. I've been struggling with that.
You knew I was going to
years.
ask it, man. That's what I always ask on every interview. I'm going to put this segment up any way you slice it and dice it, because I gotta acknowledge that it happened.
Look, the thing is, man, I never met Rakim. I've been that's been my life and destiny in one sense. To reach out to him, I know a few people on the in between.
So Rakim is your number 1. Rakim is your number 1. You done named him pretty tough.
Well, look, here where I'm going. This is just being a fan to the music and student to the game. But in real life, hand to hand, heart to heart, man to man, boots on the turf, C-Bo.
Hey, yeah.
We connected on some real life big brother, little brother shit, you know what I mean?
Okay, I like C-Bo, man.
Yeah, he lived in Dallas when I lived in Dallas, about 7 minutes apart. So I got a lot of time to spend with him, and he helped me out in a dire time in my life and career. So I ultimately respect that. So in one sense,
so that's Rakim and C-Bo.
Yeah, in real life. And just what it means, survival and that different other than being a student and a fan to the game and me just listening to rappers and saying who's my favorite rapper. But him being a rapper, a real big brother to me, and just a person of the cloth from that business that was OG before me, that taught me a lot of more independent game between Texas to California. You know what I mean? It's a whole nother dynamic. So like I said, I got my reasons for liking LA or Daddy Kane, MC Light, before we even get into the female genre.
Man, MC Light was a beast, man.
Yeah,
Did you meet her? You ever meet MC Light?
I hadn't met Light, but I'm real cool with Sugar T, Boss.
Okay, yeah.
So, for me, it's like when Pimp C say, put y'all records on one side of the store and woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
It's the same but bigger dynamic to where rap is not just one genre of music no more. You got everything from gangster rap to Christian rap.
Okay.
So when you narrow that down, that's just rap. And when you talking music connoisseur, I can't put
Well, let me ask you this, because you just said something, man. Pimp C, man. Yeah. Did you get to meet? Because that's one of my top, of all times for me. And I know everybody, I be getting upset with people up here about Pimp C. When you don't mention him in the top three, I be like, what? But let me give me something on Pimp C, because I know you met him?
Oh, that was my brother, man. I cried 1,000 tears, man. I said at the end about it live and living. Mama West, I met Mom, Pops, his two sons, Corey, and young Chad. So I had the privilege. A lot of people don't know this, and I'm gonna say this for the record. Pimp C really from Crowley, Louisiana.
Okay, I didn't even know that. See, I'm getting diamonds out of this thing. That's where he was born?
Yeah, it's an interview he said before his demise. I'll send you the link later when I find it again, But what he tell everybody, he from Crowley, Louisiana, before PA, then in the H-Town. So I was the guy, Crowley is probably about a couple hours from Baton Rouge.
Man.
So when I was coming up and splicing tapes, what we used to call it in the house with a double cassette deck, if you had one turntable and if you was one of what I call a back room boys and was formulating hip-hop, and definitely anyway, but definitely in a southern way, I was sampling records like the Isaac Brothers. One day you here, one day you're gone. And I had records that I never put out.
Man.
Was published before I was. Okay, so we was on that wavelength is my whole point. So I have old men, 63 years old, between that and quality, to say, man, do you know Chad? You got to meet Chad. Now, Max Minnelli from the concentration camp name is Chad, too. And one of his favorite rappers of all time was Pimp C. Pimp and Bond coming in the world of UGK, and, Pimp never put out a solo record, till his death. But it's a funny journey. I used to go through Crowley on that other note, what I'm
already,
saying?
Man.
And never met Pimp in Crowley. But once he started to catch on to what was going on, I get different messages. If I was in Lake Charles or Lafayette and they was in Lake Charles, they'll send for me down the road. But it'll be years later before we'll meet in a physical form, before I meet Mom and we start negotiating deals. And we met each other. It was a match made in heaven in that sense. The only record that we have today.
Hold on. Hold what you got. Move over to the right a little bit.
Yes,
move over to the right. There you go. Right there. Now we good. Now go ahead.
All right. So check it out. So the only record we had planned a lot of things. If Pimp was alive, I'd be on UGK Records, and shout out to the whole family. All of us is cool.
But you tripped me out when you said you're from Crowley. I never heard that before. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. Ask anybody from Texas, anybody that know Pimp C for real.
Yeah.
Knew Mama West and all them. They from Crowley, Louisiana. I knew the sheriff of Crowley, me and his son run together. How deep I was in
That's
Crowley.
What's up, man.
I have old men to say you got to meet him from Baton Rouge that knew Pimp before we was known like this on these records.
Yeah.
Different times. So it'll be years. I'm a baby to him and Bond. Really, I found out, man, Pimp is about 6 months apart. I think Pimp born in December 73, and I'm born 74 June. So really 6 months apart. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Different things you learn when you meet people. And we just had that brotherly love for each other and had some plans. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Steve-O, two other guys, when he come home. I knew Pimp for the penitentiary time. Then when he came home and he started UGK Records, Will Records. So we was planning on doing some things. And unfortunately, I don't think he lived a year when he come home from the penitentiary, maybe 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, I remember, man. Yeah, I remember. I was anticipating the wait when he got out the Terrell unit. Hey man, I'm watching everything, man, because I know the system. So I'm like, okay, my boy home. I know he still might be dealing with a little paper. You know, he might still be having to deal with a little paper, but he can go to Cali every now and then do something. And I just thought it was gonna be so much more. I had big expectations when he came home.
At least 10 years, Z. You know that slapped us all with a left hook from the blind side. But look, saying that to say this, the only public record that the world don't know about unless you read the credits on Balls in My Word. That's the Pimp C and a Young Bleed record, and really was for the 504 bars, a mystical or somebody, and I ended up with the record doing the third verse. It's on here again. All I have in this world is my Balls in My Word. My debut solo to the world is Bring the Noise. Pimp C produced that track. That's the only Pimp I have in life, man. So rest in peace to my brother Chad, man.
Yes, sir.
Long time. Heritage, yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. I think I'm gonna give it back to you. The official Miss Jamaica got a question. I can tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next question is: I know you have an upcoming album coming out. You said in February. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's really coming off a prequel album I did November 6, 2020. I always kind of pre-see or predestined what I'm gonna do next, the next years to come, along with the label and the artists and whatever they doing. But I did a record in the end part of the year. That's let me get rid of this call. But the end part of the year in November, that was called Signs and Wonders, based on the time, the pandemic and everything, you know what I mean, so on and so forth, the election. And I wanted to go in a realistic kind of term and feeling like, you know, the code, like the new Black Plague, maybe this is the last days and all that. And I wanted to speak on that. Shouts out to my man Chuck at Work Clothes and Grind Music and Chop at Top Shop Recordings out there in Indiana. And they shot me an idea about doing an EP. So we did about 7 songs we called Signs and Wonders. There's actually a prequel going into this album that you mentioned it called There Is a God. So I watched, you know, slightly the news and what was going on all the way up into the situation in the Capitol. And the one thing I felt we was lacking, and I don't want to go for saying disrespect, but however you look at it, each his own, was missing God. It's a few people that I heard mention God. You know, shouts out to the guy that won at Georgia, the black guy that was a reverend. Yeah. So I felt like despite of all the scientists and rocket scientists that's putting their head together, we don't know where this disease comes from. I'm saying disease, but the COVID, the pandemic. Yeah. Maybe some people do. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It kind of related me and reminded me a lot of, if you read the 20th chapter of Revelation, they kind of go with the time. Yeah, definitely good, and that's a good book to reference. Yeah. So exactly, and when we talking about 2021, the 21st start a New Jerusalem, and so on and so forth, and they kind of reminded me a lot of that. So I wanted to reflect back into my essence, the most spiritual side of me, and kind of give that reverence to God. So coming off the prequel Signs and Wonders, yes, I don't have a for sure date yet. I'm still in the studio with the record, but yeah, y'all get ready for There Is a God. Really, if you break down the letters the way I'm spelling this, like D-I-G, like dig, like I get it. Yeah. But there is a God, like man. Is a God, man. Yeah.
And who are some of the collaborations you have with on that new album?
Right now, a few underground up and coming artists, by the way of Chicago, New Orleans, Free C Murder, Free Mac, Free BG for that matter. For sure. But the guy shout out to BG like, and C Murder. Yes, sir. But like one of C's main guys, man. Shouts out to my brother Cut Boy G De Niro, by way of New Orleans, but out in the ATL area. He's the producer for a song and perhaps the first single that I'm finna release called "In the Eyes of God" that features him, you know, rapping on it as well as producing the beats. And my brother, that nigga Twan out there, man, and them Wild 100s out there in Chicago, man. But we came together, and rest in peace to my man and brother Glennis Martin, man. If y'all remember the group 7 Mile for out of Detroit years ago, you know what I mean, when Troop and all those kind of boy groups was out on the black hand side. One or maybe a couple of records, man. I lived in the Detroit and Lansing area for a little while, and I had a chance to meet this brother. that became a real brother in the same way with me in real life. And as we did this record on the N.I. the God record, he passed, of cancer a couple of years ago out there in Atlanta.
That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you hear the record, it's real, epic and classic in that sense.
Almost.
And what he's saying on the hook.
Spend some time.
We ready? All right, now we back, man. Young Bleed's in the building, man. Hey, man. Hey, I want to ask her, but I know she wanted to hear a little bit more about the artist you had featured on this new album. And what date is it coming out?
He said he's not sure.
I don't have a for sure date yet. I'm still in the studio with it, and I'm still juggling in my head. Really, my template is laid out. I'm doing like about 13 songs unless my cup runneth over.
Okay.
But it might be some surprise guests. For the first time, my mama been on me about this for life. Hey, do a record with no cussing. So when I say there is a God, I ain't finna play with him at all. So I'm not cussing for the first time on the record. And I barely do that throughout my history, and I speak Christism in a ghetto gospel kind of way. So I got some ideas, but it's a slight chance that other than the two guys that I made the record with, and rest in peace to my man, we really started that one song 2-3 years prior to what's happening now. So this kind of evolved. I had a template of where I wanted to lay out my next 3 to 5 records. But when this pandemic and all that came, that's the spirit shift I had. And I felt like that was the time. So I crafted together 13 solo joints, 12 other than the In the Eyes of God that featured those two guys. So it's a slight chance it just might be, shout out to my big brother Brad. I hear he getting better on talking about Scarface.
Yeah, Brad. Yeah. I'd heard that too. I'd heard he was getting better. I wanted to let me get all the way into it, man, because I know a lot of people they know that you. Go ahead.
My whole reason for mentioning Brad was Brad sent a message to me a long time ago, and we met a couple of times and real fond of each other. But he always told me to do a record with just me by myself and the right production. So I got some nice music this time, and I feel like I didn't, grew from a boy to a man in that spiritual essence.
Yeah.
And the world needs to hear this, and I toot my own horn. So I'm really on the same me vibe, but with that direction of God and the Christ-like way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to kind of spin things a little bit into, that mega hit, that song that pretty much changed a lot of people's life, man. That one that everybody was partying on, and just kind of talk around that how you do that there. That song that you done, how you do that there. I want to just know what made you come up with that, because I know you told me a little bit about it, but just give us a history and rundown on it. And I know I got some questions I want to ask about it.
Okay. Well, for me, it's all, spirit first, you know what I mean? Mind, body, and soul. But in my brainchild and psychic, I kept hearing the groove, hearing a certain pattern of drums and all that type of things. And I presented that to my friend and family, Happy Perez, man. You know what I mean? That's the H-Town producer, but was living in Louisiana.
Okay.
When he was a younger kid in high school, man. Shouts out to Max Panetta and Jay Vaughn. They had a group called Lay Low together. Mm-hmm. And those at least half was a little bit more computer intelligent in that sense. I can go as far as saying that in that time, as far as programming and different things like that. So I had this beat that was playing in my head, kind of like Hustle and Flow over and over.
Yeah.
There was a song like that sometimes you're too tired to wake up and write it, too busy to do something, and it wouldn't leave me alone. So eventually I presented that to him, and we started to craft on the ideas I had for that song together. So I give him either producer or co-producer or vice versa before it was turned over to Beats by the Pound and re-digitally enhanced in that sense from the concentration camps at No Limit. So, but really, intellectual property, God idea and thought theory before it came to me.
Yeah.
Just giving you the whole essence of it. And it was just something that we worked with, man, that I had a good vibe and a good feeling about. And I knew it was going to be a good record, but how good, how long, and how big.
It went big. Let me ask you this. Was that the first work of art that you heard on the radio? Or had you heard numerous songs before that?
Really, I had a record on the radio probably about 16, 17 years old when I was selling tapes on the corner in my neighborhood before the world would know.
What was the name of that one?
It was called Much Love. It was a bar.
So that was the first one. Much Love.
And our FM radio in Baton Rouge, you know, it was like #1 at the station. They played it 3-4 times a day. And, you know, and amongst other things that led into talent shows and all that type of thing and old heads between our FM and AM radio station. But that was a town favorite when I was still in the hood and here again doing talent shows and things of that sort and that nature. But my biggest record to this to date is that's like my Michael Jackson Thriller, like how you do that.
Yeah, how you do that there. When you came up with them lyrics, man, when you came in and said, who that? Yeah. The way that song started out, you know, you started that thing, man. And I didn't, that was the remix that Master P had done, right?
Absolutely. And you know your history, man, when you say that. I wanted to signify Louisiana. A lot of people tell you where we from is really a Southern Jaguar term. That was really who that some kind of way.
Okay, I get it. You know about that now.
Yeah, look, a lot of people don't know this too, E. You know, Baton Rouge used to be 504, and New Orleans used to be the 225, and they switched the dynamic somewhere down the line between the late 70s into the 80s. So maybe that's a true statement. I don't know where it originated from.
Okay.
The who that term, but I wanted something that signified us, Louisiana.
Man, you did that, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I tripped out because after it was all, you know, like years later, and you hear a Ricky Smiley when he come out to it in his comedy skits, and I'm like, man, so when you first, okay, let me go back. I don't want to get into that yet. How did Master P ended up being on the remix, and how did you end up? Did you sign to No Limit?
Well, the truth is, you know, the beauty of networking between Baton Rouge and New Orleans at least 45 minutes apart.
Yeah, I've been down through there.
C-Loc being a CEO of the company, C-Loc Records, and Master P being the CEO of No Limit. Shouts out to so many camps.
Oh, man, y'all had a whole bunch of people down there getting it in at that time.
Getting it in, yeah, from an independent standpoint.
Yeah.
But P having the overall access at the time was the right time and place for us. So naturally, we was networking between camps and that type of thing. And when we got ready to do our first self-titled compilation, concentration camp, where everybody was aiding C-Loc on the record, that was my solo joint to the world, other than what I had did on the street corner. You know what I mean?
Man, listen, man, I don't mean to cut you off, but like I remember when it was a time when the South didn't really get recognized by East or West Coast. It was underground cassette tapes. You had the down South, I think it was like the down South, and they would do a CD with all the down South, not a CD, a cassette with everybody on it from down South. And I used to get that cassette, man, and I put it in my deck. And hey, it was a wrap. I didn't really after the South got, you know, and it wasn't lit nowhere else. But to me, that's all I listened to. Well, if it wasn't you guys, it wasn't going in my deck. Period. That's what this platform about, Southern hospitality, man. Anytime I get this, that's why I wanted to do a platform where we could give ourselves some recognition for the accomplishments we done had. Have you been recognized for how you do that there? Have you ever been recognized, plaques?
Maybe 50% of it, you know, I say it's a lot of flack where I'm concerned. Excuse me. And I said that my first verse of the first, I'm saying how you do that single, but the Balls of My Word record is a record, my very first record is called Keep It Real with the country Louisiana banjo swing. But I spoke about remaining a mystery.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how significant that would be at the time. So it's a 50-50 thing with me. Like, if you know me, you know me. If not, due to the backwards pictures, everybody that's still not familiar with my face, you know what I mean? I'm going to call it a blessing before I call it a curse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Allow, you know, me to be preserved in the game.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, it's a hit and miss kind of thing. Kind of like Rakim compared to LL at the time, where LL had the more commercial success.
Yeah.
But underground, if you know anything about hip-hop, that's one of the guys you don't want to battle freestyle-wise or nothing. So I became just what I ate in the game. You know, who I studied, the teachers I studied.
Yeah.
I became them in the southern sense.
Let me ask you this. Did you... Did you?
Yeah, it's a badge of honor.
Thank you. Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but did you how did you when Master P when y'all first linked up and he was doing this remix with you? The song was already bubbling, for him to even come to you. So
Yes,
did you when it started when he came to you and it started to make ground and what was the next phase? Because when an artist takes off like that, it's got to be something to where okay. Where are we going from here? Because we got to do something else. And how do you think that went for you?
Man, I'll give you a true life story. I was a groundskeeper. I hustled and did what I did in the street on the side, but I tried to keep me a day job. I had kids. I was a father at 17, so, I had to stay about some form of money at an early age. So I was working this job as a groundskeeper, one of my last jobs in life. And we was working the records. I worked the groundskeeper in the daytime, Pizza Hut in the evening time, and in the studio at 12
grinding,
in the morning.
hustling. It's a unique hustle. I see it.
Over again. Yeah, sleep in the car type of thing. You know what I mean? So one day, I'm carrying this wheelbarrow full of lime rocks to fill up this ditch, and I felt extremely light.
Okay.
All my struggles, things I've been through in life, I felt like I was all but lifted off the ground. Back then, and I know you could overstand what I'm finna say to
yes,
you.
Sir.
I still had an interlink beeper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so my manager partner, shout out to Paul Franklin, we called Uncle Paul of the Corleone family.
Mm-hmm.
He give me a call while I was at work and say, hey, bro, you want to go to California? I said, what you talking about? Say, Loc and P been working on something, and Priority Records is interested in signing you as an artist. So I was always trying to keep my day job to something else better come along. So I go in the office at the end of the day and I explain to the people I work for, look, this weekend I'm flying out to California. And, I done had this life dream of being this artist all my life. And if this works out, this might be the break I've been waiting for. Other than that, I'll be back to work Monday morning.
Okay.
I went to California and the rest was here.
Man, that's a great story, man. But I can feel you on having kids early and stuff. I think that's a lot of brothers, man. We start out early. We just trying to make a way, man. Anybody else got any questions? You got a question? Money Moses, you got a question?
Oh yeah, I got a question.
Okay, what you got?
Like when you went to California, who was the first artist that really shocked you? Like you in the room with them?
For me and Priority Records, it was guys like Ant Banks,
Hey man, you talking now?
Brother Lynch Hung. All of us, JT the Bigger Figure, and Too Short, ultimately.
Yeah. That boy was doing it.
On Short off and on. But Short being an OG to us at the time, he gave me a lot of props and welcomed me to California and happened to be in Priority one of the days I was there when Ant Banks was doing the Sitting on Something Fat record. And he'll come down with the homie. He wasn't on Priority, but Short would be hanging around. And a few little times we shared, and he come to Baton Rouge a time or another, and we became friends throughout life. But far as one of my greatest inspirations of hip hop, when you talk of favorite rappers, Too Short is one of those guys.
That's number 3. I'm gonna stick that on number 3. Yeah,
Short. See, this is the thing I recognize. That's like heavyweight fighters. You don't expect Mike Tyson to fight like Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson. Everybody got their time and era and their own time of reign. Like what I told Doug and Fresh. I say, y'all, the East Coast to us was like the wall of Abydos in Egypt.
All right.
You got that whole line of kings.
Yeah.
And for us, especially Southern, less educated and so on and so forth, we got the game from both sides. Lil J used to say, we the meat. The East Coast is the one bread slice, the West another, and we the meat on the other point.
Shout out to Lil J.
Absolutely. Salute, man.
Yeah, man. Respect, man. I'm trying to link up with everybody, man, in the South, man. That's my ultimate goal is to get these people on this platform, man, and to bless people, man, and on a positive vibe for the South, man. Yes, and like I say, I know a lot of people, even on the East Coast, man, and just, that's the main thing, just trying to make sure we keep it, keep the thing on level playing field. You know what I'm talking about? So,
yeah. One teach one, man.
Yes, sir.
They all go together.
Yeah,
if we can manage the set trip, it all go together, and everybody got, like Dre said years ago, The South got something to say. Everybody got a right to voice their opinion. Everybody got something to bring to the table.
Yeah.
So get yourself prepared, like Big and Puff and talk about notorious music. I say music, but movie. Hey, we can't change the world unless we change ourselves, man. So, I get myself together before I approach anything and anybody else, man.
Yeah. So let me. Do you have you don't have another question? What about you? No. Okay. Then let me see if I got anything else before I let you go, Young Bleed. Thing I would say, if it was a young kid out there trying to get in the rap game, what would one of the things be? And I just want to make sure we get that in. One of the things that you would leave them with, something that they could take from this, because that's what a lot of our entrepreneurship is coming from these days for our youngsters, and everybody want to rap, and maybe something you could say may inspire somebody. So wrap it up for us in that way, man.
Okay, man. Other than God being my greatest inspiration, I would have to say my mother. Under our mother, under our father, but above that, always honor and respect God to give you the vision, the dream, and to manifest whatever you're trying to make happen in life. I did a record in 2007 called Living. I went back to basic fundamentals and all that to say this. Sometimes, in some cases, life is more important than before love. If you're not breathing, you can't do nothing. You can't embrace nobody, keep them, do whatever. So you go back to living. You got to learn where life comes from. I always use this record. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you at. To know where you're going, and definitely to take the game. So I always tell them youngsters to stay prayed up. I still got a young on my name, so I'm the perfect bridge between the young and the old.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I try to keep that connected and make sure we understand both sides. If you look at a mob fashion, it's gangsters you wanted to get. They say it's two sides to a mob family. I say it's three. The brain, the bronze, which is the muscle, and the heart that connect the brains and the muscle.
Hey,
so I try to say that, take a heart on the in between and tell them to learn supreme mathematics, man. A before B, 1 before the 2 and the 3. Knowledge is king, number 1. Number 2 is wisdom is a woman. And number 3 is a child bring forth understanding.
Yeah,
and we can get to the rest. So if you're in order with God, you could be so much. I was told you could be so much in order with God that He'll be in order with you.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Unisys. Unisys is the word that we commonly use. But that's the whole thing, and everything else, man, coming from where we come from. I didn't grow up in Harvard and Yale, New York, to California to have the opportunities. I remember a time in the South when other than D&D records and RCA and whoever was reaching, the first guys that come out of Louisiana on a national level was Tim Smooth and Big Mike to Rap A Lot Records and Bust Down to Luke Skywalker.
Hey, did you ever think that you might sign the Rap A Lot at any time? Was he ever in the scope?
I'm glad you asked that. Like I say, my whole point of giving was that's the only 2 opportunities we had. If it wasn't Uncle Luke in Miami, it was Uncle
Jay Brent, man. Hey, listen, man, he paved the way for a lot of people, man, and I respect him the utmost, man, to be honest with you, because of the moves that's been made in the South and the respect that we get a lot of times. A lot of that, we got to pay homage to him for making it happen. And, of course, UGK, that everybody in the world love UGK.
Scarface, the whole
Scarface, Willie D, Crime Mob.
To be kind of smashed in. Yeah. It's an infinite list. Not cutting you off, but saying it to say this, to have the heart to continue.
Yeah.
It's like a double being black when you being spit on like Pimp C, picked on and all that, and we not respected because we a different origin and we don't speak in a proper language and we got country slang.
Hey, my boy say country rap tune. That's what my boy say. Yes, sir. Man, shout out to Pimpin' Ken too, man. I know you be linking with Pimpin' Ken, man.
I call him Uncle Pimpin', man. I just talked to he send me something every other day. And y'all tap into him, man.
I got a link with him because me and him got something to talk about, man. I'd had some times with old Pimpin' Ken, man. So you got to link us up. You got to link us up. Tell him I want to bring him on the show.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give him a call and put y'all together personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, I want to signify that, I think I sent you the clip. If I didn't, shame on I know I sent it to you and Steve, if not both. But, he got the HHF thing going on, hip-hop fraternity out there in Atlanta that they doing, man, for artists, A&Rs, and just building a whole plateau. He one of them guys that come from that game, retired from that game, and he loved music so much. I didn't know how intertwined he was with music, and due to what he was doing, he kept me and Pimp C at the end of the day, hand in glove. If I was living in Dallas and we was going to the Black Forest Theater, shout out to Erykah Badu, Uncle Pepe gonna come and make sure he let me know UGK coming through there. So, you know, it's a lot of times he was trying to keep me and Pimp hands together. And like I say, unfortunately, about our brother's demise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying
to debate to Bobo out there with y'all too,
for
man.
sure.
When you say Bobo,
well, we in Dallas, Texas, man. So, hey, we trying to put this platform together, Dallas, Texas style, man, to where people have a platform they can come to and enjoy themselves and speak about different things, you know, that's going on in the city and other cities surrounding here. So, man, we appreciate you for coming on the show, man. We appreciate you spending the time with us, man. Boss Talk 101. Hey man, we gonna get you back on here if once we get rolling good. We're a new establishment, man. So once we put our foot in the game, you coming back, right? For sure.
Look, man, you stuck with me, man. You've been stuck with me for a long time. You just ain't know it. But it's a time been far, man. So definitely, anytime, anything y'all need from me. And after the album, for sure, man, I love to get y'all.
Definitely, I want to try to recognize you on the show as well, man. As far as we've been doing plaques, man, and giving out different things. And I'm trying to bless everybody that come on this show, bro. So I'm gonna probably call you back and try to do some arrangement with you, man. Maybe even try to get you down to Dallas, man. Okay. All right. Appreciate you.
I'm working on it, man, and if I pop up anytime soon, you will have a heads up. But yeah, keep me in the family, loved one, and likewise all the time.
All right, man. Yes, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's Boss Talk 101, man. It's a unique hustle, man.
We out.
Yes, sir.